Hello, everyone, and welcome back to some more Stationeers getting started. I'm Gertie Crow, and today we're going to be, well, meeting a few friends, shall we say, because today we're going to get a trading setup going and call in our very first trader. Now, you may have seen hints or things that indicated you could do trading, mostly from if I tap 5 here, and if you notice down in the bottom left hand, we've got our little uniform open, and one of the things in there is a credit card. Yes, a credit card with 200 euros on it. We've got money, baby, and I want to spend it. So, got money. We need a few other things to actually, be able to spend that money, i.e., someone to trade with. And, well, that's what today is about, setting up our first small little trading platform and getting our first trader in, making money and spending money. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and step outside right as the sun is setting. Of course, that's great for me. Close my helmet here, and let's get outside and start getting what we need to make this happen. So, outside in front of my printers, yours may be inside, you're going to need to go to your electronic printer or electro printer or electronics printer or whatever you're calling it. This is what you're going to need. This is the one-stop shop. Yes, pun intended. I am no coward. I intend my puns. The one-stop shop for printing everything we're going to need to set up our trader. So let's go ahead and click on the power for our printer. Turn on my little stacker as well. That way things can come out of here. And we're going to need a few things here. First thing we're going to need is somewhere for the trader to come to, and they're going to be flying in on ships. So we're going to need some landing pads. If I go ahead and start typing in landing pad, we have a few things that pop up. We have a kit landing pad runway. Do not worry about this for now. You don't need it for the small one. There are variations of the landing pad that do require different lengths of runway. We have atmospheric pads if we're going to enclose our landing pad to oxygenate the environment, because some traders do require an oxygenated environment to land inside of. And we need kit landing pad basic. We need 10 of these, in fact. So let's go ahead and print it up. And in fact, I'm just going to go ahead and print up all the materials for right now. That way we're not sitting here back, forth with a bunch of cuts in this video. And we'll just go over the materials we wanted printed all out of the electronics printer. Okay, here we are. I've got all of the bits printed up that we're going to need for this little the project, shall we call it. And I did sort of tell a lie. There's one thing I do need out of the auto lathe here, and that's frames. Simply because if I take the kit landing pad basics here, you can place the data and power down, but you can't place the basic landing pad like pieces that the ship actually lands on, just free floating. So you do need some frames to place these on too. So that is the one thing I did miss there. But the materials list you are going to need at a minimum for this to operate is going to be 10 landing pad basics, 1 satellite of either the small, medium, or large variety, all printed inside the electronics printer, 1 computer, 1 communications motherboard, and optionally 1 transformer. And what you will require out of the auto lathe is 10 frames to build your landing pads on. Well, 9 technically, but we're going to go with 10 just so I can place one under the data and power as well. So that is the entire materials list you're going to need outside of the things to run power over to it, which is that optional transformer and obviously the coil cables to actually bring the power and transfer data between everything. So that I have everything, let's go ahead and start building, right? So I've got 10 steel frames here. I'm going to go ahead and place the first one there, and then I'm going to do a 3x3 little square here. So 3 long, 3 wide, and there. And you do not need to weld up the actual frames themselves. I am going to weld up this first one just a singular time. That way I can walk on it. It gives me a little path to traverse over to the thing. So that's down. Let's go ahead and grab our kit landing pad basics. And what we're going to need to start with is landing pad center. And yes, this does need to get placed in the center of your landing pad. So placing that over our middle square, you'll see it places down his little wireframe thingy. And then all you need to do is surround it with landing pads. It doesn't need to be the landing pad diagonals or crosses or anything. You can place those down. They're more of flavor for making it look nicer. You don't need them, so I'm just going to use these landing pads for my example here. Now that is 9 of them, and the final one, why we needed the 10th, is I need landing pad data and power to go to this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and place this down just here with my data and power coming this way, which will connect up to our computer. Our computer is going to do all the fancy control things. I can luckily just place it right here. Data power for a computer. It's all in. And then a transformer. This I just like because if you ever want to program and automate this or regulate how much power is going to this, shut it all off at once if you're in real bad power woes. Transformer gives you a nice one-click button for that. So we're just going to go ahead and drop in our transformer just here inline. And then we'll bring power over to this in a minute. So let's go ahead and start building some of these things up. Computer, simply, real easy. We could have used the one out of the inside of the base that we already have there, but I had the resources, so I printed up another. It's nice and easy. Just construct it with a screwdriver. Open up that little front panel and drop in your communications motherboard. So next step is actually we're going to drop down our satellite dish. I'm going to do this opposite side. Dang it. I was hoping I could place that there. Oh yeah, we'll just, we'll place it here. It'll be a little awkward because I'll have to run the cable back and over to here, but yeah, whatever. So it's going to need an iron sheet and a welding torch. I'll have to go inside for the iron sheet. And then the rest of these here pretty much all require, well, except for this. This is data and power, just requires the 10 coil cable. And then everything else for the landing pads is just going to require a steel sheet and a welding torch. Turn on a welding torch, and let's get to welding. There we go. Nice and quick. Heck, I didn't even have to speed up the video for that one. Perfect. Now this is connected to that for our data and power, so I just need to hook all these little things up. And I'm going to use regular coil cable here. Make sure to connect both the data and power for all of the devices here. Go ahead and close that door. And final piece, gonna need those wire cutters there, and bam. Sweet, look at that. Data and power all connected up. We just need to build up our satellite dish here, and I need to drag power over here. So excuse me while I go inside to get that iron plate for the satellite dish, and I'll go ahead and just drag over the power to this bad boy, shall we? And there we have it. Satellite dish is up and running. Ooh, beautiful. Now we just need to go ahead and turn everything on. So let's start with the transformer, and then we're just going to set this all the way up to 4,950. I'm just going to leave it a little short. 4,950. There we go, because it has a 5K total. All of this set up for a 3x3, and heck, even a 5x5, you don't. So long as you don't upgrade this dish, you really don't need to upgrade this. And even if you go to a medium, you could kind of still get away with the small transformer. So it's going to stay there for a while. And I just need to start clicking on all of the devices. And there we go. Now that all the devices are, I can actually start seeing there's a trader out here, but he's only going to be around for about 10 more seconds. That is a countdown timer. Once that goes to 0, they're out of range, and I've got to wait for the next trader. There he goes. He has disappeared. Unfortunately, trader's out of range. Sad face. I've got to wait for another one, or I can start manipulating my dish here. To see if there is another one that's potentially in range. This thing turns incredibly slow, just like that. See? I got 5 minutes, but oh, we're not going to get this guy, because if you look at some of these icons here, we see a 7x7. That refers to our landing pad, the little square on the screen. So I need a 7x7 landing pad. We've only got a 3x3. And then it needs a 15 long runway. The airplane with the number over it means I need 15 of the runway pads out of the electronics printer. But luckily, someone else has popped up. Build ink. Now, as these little green bars fill up, it'll reach the end and it'll tell you degrees you are off from contact, meaning how far away this is misaligned or aligned to that particular thing. And you need to be within a certain range. So this thing, like I said, moves incredibly slow. Let's go ahead and, yep. And the medium and large one move even slower. But as you move those and kind of rearrange it, this green bar will fill up quicker. So we can just say, hey, let's try 270 degrees. Once it gets over there, we'll see if this goes up quicker or slower. There it is, and it's not much better. Let's continue rotating this thing, shall we? Let's do 90-degree increments to start with. Over to 180. Wait for it to painfully, oh so painfully, move over. And ooh, that's even worse, isn't it? Right. Let's go 90 degrees. It's probably not going to be much better. There it is, and lo and behold, yeah, it's worse. So let's go back to a 0 or 360 degrees, and then we'll change the elevation here. There we go. So we're getting a little bit. It's probably somewhere between the 360 and 270 mark. So let's move it to 320, and let's drop the elevation quite substantially. Or the vertical. Vertical being elevation, horizontal being your azimuth, depending on how you want to say it. And we can see it's filling up a little bit quicker, but not super quick. So let's slam this to the floor at 90 degrees. Change our thing. And then this is just, there it is. That's the game. Is just looking for what is the best contact. This is 7 degrees from contact. You're not getting much better than that. Once you get within contact range, or even if I let that bar fill up, you can hit this, and it'll tell you kind of what's happening. And for right now, I need 30 watts for 23 seconds is what I need for contact. I'm getting 41 of 50, which means I can interrogate. Now that wattage is controlled by this little power button. I'm sending out 50 watts worth of power. We're just going to go ahead and slam this to the max, and this is what I recommend for your small dish and even your medium. Large is, but depending on how much power you're working with. But small will draw up to 200 watts. The higher that wattage, the further from this contact I can be. So if I hit that, I'm now making 167 watts is reaching the contact destination. I only need 30 watts for 23 seconds. So once you've got all of these little parameters filled, just go ahead and hit interrogate. You'll have this little percentage that clicks up, 100, contacted, and hit the little down arrow. This will call in the trader to land, and we can do some business. So, land, listen to it boom into the atmosphere, look up, and there's the thing. Now, it always comes in from the direction of your of these arrows. That's the way it's going to come in, and that's the way it's going to go out. So, typically make sure that's clear, because if your base is blocking it, it will tell you the landing pad is blocked, and you're not actually going to get a friend to land. And here's our friend, the trade bot. Oh, look at his little face. Hi, bud. And just left click to start trading with him. Now, this guy's selling me just a bunch of building materials and things I really don't want, but I can sell to him a different set of stuff. Hard suit package, if we look at it, it tells us what needs to be inside this box. We're not doing that. I can sell him oxygen if I set up gas. I can sell him water if I set up a liquid. There's a liquid input output, a gas input output for this trading station, so you can end up trading pretty much everything in the game, depending if that particular guy wants to buy it. I can sell this guy steel. I can sell him solder. I can sell him all these things on the sell tab, or I can buy from him any of these particular things. Now, I don't really need any of these things, and I'm not overly interested in getting any of these things, but just because, it's our first trader, let's just go ahead and buy. We'll buy 5 steel frames from him and purchase. And we can see what happened when I bought. Down in my hand, you see I now have my 5 steel frames. This is where you will trade from, is your hands to start with. There's something else called a vending machine in the game. Again, from the electronics printer, one-stop shop for all of your trading needs. That will allow me to trade directly from the vending machine's inventory to buy and sell from. But currently, if I wanted to buy something from him, I have to have an empty hand. or if I wanted to sell him one of those particular things, I have to be holding that thing in my hand. And then this sell available number here will go up if I'm holding whatever particular thing that is. So if I had, say, he wants a cardboard box with a bunch of chocolate bars. I am not selling you chocolate bars. I wish I had chocolate. But if I was holding one of these things, it would give me a value depending on how many I was holding. So if I had 5 things, it would say 5 available. I could click this up to 5. I can't do anything because I don't have anything. And I could sell it to him and make some money. But as it stands, I can't make any more money off this guy. He doesn't have anything I want to buy. So I need to free up this landing pad to be able to call in another trader. So, my good friend, we're going to have you depart. And that's down the bottom left, the closed window, and just depart. He'll get back in his ship and he will fly off. There he goes. Have a good one, friend. Until the next time. Look at him go. But that is it. That is the trading game. Trader will pop up. You'll try to align to their signal as best you can. And then, yeah, see, if I had a 5x5, that was Stellar Snacks. We just moved out of range, but yeah, I could have contacted them. I couldn't have them land. If I had a 5x5 pad, I could have, and we could have bought some food, some rations, some, probably a chocolate cake maybe if I had the money. I think it's like 250 euros. It's insane. But that's it. That is the trading game. Now, like I said, if I pop myself over to the vending machine, this is an optional piece, which is why I didn't include it. But if we type in vending machine, with the advanced electronics printer, we see we get 2 variants of this. We get the regular vending machine, and then we get a vending machine refrigerated. All that really means is I can store, things that need to be refrigerated for longer. So, like, if I put potatoes in there, they'll start decaying in the regular vending machine. However, in the refrigerated one, they'll last for quite a bit longer. That's same with cooked foods and anything that's perishable, really. But you can just make one of these. I didn't, just because it's not necessarily needed, but it'll allow you to trade larger quantities, because I can only hold stacks of 50 versus I could drop in like 5 stacks of 50 and have 250 iron ore, let's say, to sell all at once. But that is it. And quite fortuitous, a storm has happened. I know, fortuitous storm. That'll give me this. If I try and have this individual land again, they can't land. Traders unavailable to travel in this storm. No traders can land in a storm. So that's actually perfect game. Thank you for helping me demonstrate that. But yeah. And now let's say I didn't want this stuff to idle for so long. Instead of clicking off every individual thing, I can now just click off my transformer. It'll power down, and I can come back when I'm ready to try and start, looking for another trader or something. But for now, let's get out of the storm. Let's go inside, and let's get out of our suit for a little bit, shall we? There we go. And that is going to do it for this episode. That is the basics of the trader. I hope it was useful. I hope you get some stuff out of this. There are all kinds of traders for materials like we just saw, for just regular building materials, or ores, for gases, for food, for seeds, for growing. You can buy cocoa seeds, you can get fern seeds, you can get all kinds of different things to grow, all kinds of different things to just buy, play with. You can buy pretty much all the things. You need different traders, obviously. Like, we had a build guy, so looking for that perfect trader for you and for the situation you're in is kind of an RNG game, but not too bad of a one, especially when you consider you can automate sort of that trading process to a degree. And what I mean by to a degree is up to the point where it does the interrogation. You actually have to call it into land, and then you actually have to go do the trades, but you can use an IC to actually control that. Look around, oh, we've made contact, interrogate it, and then you just go over and click the land when you're ready, if the particular thing is there. So with that, it's not overly bad, but I digress. This is all for this one. So I hope it was useful. Hope you got something out of it. I hope it was entertaining. And remember, until the next one, everyone, to stay safe out there.